Welcome back to the channel, you guys. Hey, just got off the Detroit River Monday morning. I made a trip out there with my buddy Donnie, a morning trip before work, and I wanted to share with you guys some things I learned, a fresh report, water temp, things that were working, clarity of the water, all that stuff. So let's dive right into it. I'm going to try to be as quick as possible, so be sure to pay attention, and hopefully this will help you guys get on some fish. The day was April 3rd, Monday morning. We launched out of St. Jean towards the north end of the river, and we specifically were targeting the area of the mouth of the Detroit River and where it meets Lake St. Clair. I've heard great reports all the way from the mouth of Lake St. Clair down to mid-river, but the issue is water clarity, specifically on the Canadian side. Although I didn't venture over to the Canadian side, I can tell you that the water clarity on the American side was roughly 16, 18 inches to 2 feet in spots at best, but it's almost perfect ideal conditions for jigging the river. It's not muddy, it's not dirty on the American side, although we've been getting a lot of rain, and we're getting a lot of rain tomorrow with that storm. It could change the conditions up a little bit. But we're fishing mainly the lake part of the mouth, drifting into the mouth of the river, and for that little bit of stretch there. I noticed a lot of boats started on the Canadian side. When we got there, we were one of 3 boats on the American side. A lot of boats were on the Canadian side, and as the morning went on, they started drifting over to the American side from the Canadian side. I can tell you the action was hot and heavy from the first 5 minutes to the hour and a half we were fishing to catch not only our 2-man limit, but a bunch of bonus fish, just playing catch and release and having fun with that. Water temp was about 38 degrees. I mean, it is still really cold water. We're getting some warmer temps here in the next coming weeks, especially this week after the storm blows through. We're going to have some warmer water temps moving in, hopefully, and bringing more fish in. I can tell you the spawn has started as well. And not all walleye start and finish the spawn at the same time. The spawn goes on for probably a 2-month period, but Captain Spencer Berman, he reported that he actually caught a spawned out female already, and all the males that we were catching on our trip, we're definitely looking for eggs to fertilize. I'll just put it like that. Now, some keys to success. Low light conditions. We started jigging about 6:30 in the morning. Low light conditions, guys, what you're going to want to reach for is a dark colored plastic. Okay, this is the Wyandotte worm with a little chartreuse tail, and I was using a chartreuse head. Low light conditions, always go for the darker solid color plastics, as well as dirtier water conditions. You're going to have more success with this. I do like having a little chartreuse tail there, but low light conditions in a little bit dirtier water, you're going to want to go for that black or brown color plastic. Now, we were using black, like I said, chartreuse stinger hooks. See how I got that stinger hook right there? That is the ideal spot for that stinger hook to be hanging to catch walleye. 75% of the fish were eating, and they came on the stinger hook, but we also did belly snag quite a few, which we threw back because it's not legal to keep those. But belly snagging fish just shows you how many fish are actually starting to move into that system, shows you how many fish were right where we were fishing in particular. Another good color that produced some bites was the Motor City Madness Finesse Minnow. It's also darker, but it's got a little purple tint to it when you turn it just right with some blue flake. But notice again where that stinger hook placement is, right at the tip of the tail. This was also with the chartreuse and silverhead. 1 ounce jig head, guys. I know a lot of people don't feel like they need 1 ounce, but if you have trouble staying vertical, if you just want to stay vertical the entire time and not have to deal with your line getting away from you or always having to chase it, just use 1 ounce, and you'll have better success at staying vertical when you're jigging the river. So we had low light conditions, and not only low light conditions, but low ceiling. When it's a cloudy day, if you got low light conditions, a darker color plastic always seems to work better. Now, as the sun came up and it started to brighten up, we already had caught our limit, so we were just toying around and switched to the classic Pimp Daddy. This is one of my favorites. Notice again the stinger hook placement's perfect. This is one of my favorite colors for bright days, a little clearer water, things like that. So again, 1 ounce jig heads is what we're using. We're using stinger hooks. We were not using minnows. Water temp was 37 to 38 degrees. The fish were snapping the jigs. I mean, still, I was still kind of slowly lifting and setting down, but my buddy Donnie was having better success doing a little more of a snap jig. And so I changed to that method. And that cadence seemed to be working really well. Also, for landing fish, they were snapping it. They were grabbing it on the way down. You could feel the bite. You'd set the hook into them. So it was a good productive bite. There was a lot of boats for a Monday morning. Initially, there wasn't, but by the time we left, there had to be 30 boats in that stretch of river that we were at. And now I know my buddy Captain Ken Rice from Legend Killer Charters, he's been doing really well mid-river, bouncing back and forth from the American to the Canadian side. But if you can find good water on the Canadian side that isn't chocolate milk, it's always a good time to check both sides of the river. So we launch out of St. Jean. The St. Jean launch opens up at 6 a.m. exactly. I was only boat in line. We were there, and the street lights kicked on, and a gentleman came walking out of the building, come unlock the gate at 6 a.m. You got to scan the little code or do the text messaging thing for the app to pay. It's 10 bucks and some change. I think 12 bucks. There's a little fee there, but you got to pay that way. Go in, launch. The launch is in great condition. All the docks are in. I also talked to the dip net. Ballinger Park's open. All the docks are in there. Wyandottes open. Lake Erie Metro Park is open. Guys are also picking up some perch down in that area in some of them bays and canals, as well as some pretty good numbers of walleye. So I hope you guys get after them. The river's fired up. It's not firing on all cylinders yet, but it's only going to get better. It's only going to get better here through the month of April, and expect a lot of company on the river, number one, but expect to catch a lot of fish. Keep an eye on the local weather, the wind reports, all that type of thing, and plan your trips accordingly. And hope you guys have the best luck out there. If you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel. I'm going to share the video from the trip with me and my buddy from yesterday. I also got a little bonus because after we caught our walleye, we went out to Lake St. Clair, poking around on the American side in search of some smallmouth, and we were pleasantly surprised with what we found up in the shallow water. In the water temp on Lake St. Clair is also the best we found was right around 40 degrees. So the smallmouth are starting to move in. I'm going to start targeting them here in the next few weeks. Best of luck out there, guys. Hope you guys hammer the walleye this spring. April and the D's here. And I'm excited just as you guys are. So good luck out there, and we'll see you on the next one.